on this episode, we do a Q&A, but it was some financial fire out the gate, Daniel.
Yeah, it was super wet. Lots of takeaways today. Yeah.
How do you follow that up, Trey?
Our millions of listeners asked a lot of great questions, so you guys won't want to miss this one.
Shout out to all the Roundtable listeners. We really appreciate the support. Some great questions, financial training, business, all that shit. It's fire.
Yeah, this is a great episode. Let's roll to it. Roundtable Podcast. I'm your boy Corey G at Small Alarms Danny at Trey Speed and the graphic gangster himself, Cole Susak. What's up, fellas?
What's up? What's up?
Yo.
We got Q&A today, huh?
Yes, sir. I put out a sticker question me and Trey did for all the millions of listeners we have.
Yes.
And I think we got some great questions. There's a mix of like training, business, mindset, some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think some very quality information that I think we can wrap on.
All right, cool. You run the show. You got the bomber glasses on,
actually,
kid.
I actually like Trey's question.
Let's start there?
Yeah, so let's start with Trey's question.
Okay,
So,
good, Trey.
Please, Trey.
First question is, the 3 best investment strategies or guidelines for beginners.
You want me to start with it?
Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
So I like this because this is where a lot of the conversations sometimes start in the 4 a.m. crew or like in our building, right? Because a lot of you guys were younger. You've been here for a while now, but it's like where to start. And if I think back to what Joe kind of hit me to, which by the way, Joe got cleared to do the podcast, so we'll bring him on soon, which would be awesome.
Okay.
Is I think if we're just talking stock market, at least initially, is understanding the diversification of a couple different styles of stocks, because a lot of people just think that, and this is, I'm going to speak for myself, like when I was in the country thinking about stocks, to me it felt like I was betting and I was going to lose all my money because I didn't understand it, right? Because education's the power. And so then when I started to understand square one, dividend stocks, square two, categories of stocks, whether it's, utilities or, tech, or like just to understand how it's segmented. So it's like I would tell a new person, like, understand the segments of where people invest their money, then understand a dividend and a growth stock. Because then I think if you only have enough money for 2 stocks, we'll use Shopify and we'll use OKE, right? Those are 2. Shopify's $30 today, which I think is a real good price. I don't know what it'll be when this comes out. That one doesn't pay a dividend, but they're saying the 1 year target for that's 85. So you're hoping that'll grow $50 a share. Okay. Then the other 30, we'll say the other one's $30 that pays a $2 dividend. Well, this one, the target might be $40 this year, but it's going to pay you $3.75 of free money just because you own it. And if you understand those 2 things, then I believe as you're putting your money in, you can say, if I've got $1,000, I would like 500 to be quote unquote more secure, and I know I'm going to get paid on it, and hope it grows incremental. And the other $500, maybe it could go up 30% because I'm in a growth area. I think those things are important. I think the third thing I would teach is that it has to be monthly, whether it's $25 or $25,000. It's all relative. And here's the mistake I made, which I was hoping you guys would not make, which is why we've talked about these things. I didn't start early enough because I didn't think it was enough. That is I'm telling you, that is a huge mistake, because even though I wouldn't have put away a ton of money, it still would have compounded to be way more money now because I would have been involved longer. So when you're saying, I hear Corey talking about this or Cole talking about that, but I only got $75, I'm telling you, but if that $75 is going in every month for 5 years longer than when you can put 300, 500, 700 in, it's going to be huge for you long term, especially if you're younger listening to this podcast. Yeah. So those are my 3 things, which that's kind of long winded, but that's where I would start.
Yeah. Then I'll go right after that because I started out learning about the dividend from you, just hearing a conversation about the compounding, stuff like that.
Yep.
The biggest thing I learned early from Joe was investing into the different types of accounts, like how important it is
the IRA.
To invest into an IRA so that whenever you go to retire, it's tax-free, it gets pulled out tax-free, and understanding why that's a benefit to me, even though I'll pay taxes on it now. But whenever I'm like 65 and there's a few mil in there, I don't want I don't want fucking like 40% of it to be fucking taxed whenever I'm about to retire. So understanding that early, and then like going off you doing it monthly, is whenever I started out, I adjusted my lifestyle to make sure I was like contributing the max amount I could per month.
Yep.
And then living off of that. So automatically having that deducted, not even thinking about it, just saying, I know I will never see this money and it's going to this account.
Think about this. You create a bill, but you still have the money.
Yeah.
See, that's the difference is I think when people see it as like a bill, like as an overhead, and I even have told Rachel, like, I'm not spending that money. We still have it. It's just not in that account. It's just now invested in something else. So I think when people see like, almost like they create another car payment for themselves, but you're creating a car payment essentially for something for your future that's going to be worth more in theory, as long as you're not an idiot.
That's kind of how I looked at it too.
What'd you start with, Cole?
So you can invest, I think it's like $500 per month.
Yeah.
So whenever I started first making like a decent amount of money, I would make sure that 500 was like going out.
That's a significant amount. That's good.
So like I wouldn't even say I had that much money left after that with like taxes and stuff.
Yep.
But I was like, I'm good. Like I can,
Yeah.
I was still in like college and shit. I can live off like,
but like you said,
whatever.
you adjusted to that being part of your overhead because you the long term was important.
And
That's really smart.
And then anytime like I got more money, I would invest like in basically bump up the investment price. So
you gotta be proud of yourself, dude. It's good.
yeah. So
It's real good. All right. Anybody else want to work off that? Trey?
Yeah, go. So like to go off of that too, then I would say like so like from a guideline standpoint, like don't invest like more than you can like afford to lose. So like essentially like I like to look at it like if I'm gonna put like $1,000 in something, then like that $1,000 is just gone. Whether or not that $1,000 doubles or just cuts even just a little bit though, but like you just have to imagine that it's gone. And so like because like the worst thing like is you don't want to like put your money like in a bet and then you realize that you need that money to pay a bill or you have an emergency come up or something like that, because then what happens is like let's say you put like $1,000 in something and that $1,000 turns into, let's just say hypothetically, like $800, and then you have to pull the $800 out, and then that emergency ended up costing you even more but like people don't realize
because you lost money on your investment
but people don't like realize that. So like I would say like that, and then as well as like I've been telling like a lot of people this, like I've actually been having like a lot of people message me on Twitter about option trading.
Yeah. I've seen that on some of your feed today.
Yeah, and like I always tell people like finding like just finding like the style that works like for you, because like one thing that like a lot of people I think mistake like investing is that like everyone's situation is like different. So like even taking like financial advice from like other people, like you have to be conscious of those things, because to one person like losing $1,000 might not seem like anything, but to you like that could like ruin like that like your finances for like that month or something like that, you know. So like you have to be like conscious of like just like those like kind of things and figure out like what works for you too, like in the first place, even because like some people like when it comes to like trading, like some people might like see like 10% or 20% profit and be okay with like taking their profit and taking their money and finding something else. But some people like might want to wait that out longer though and like go for like that like 50% though. And like so you just have to figure out like what works the best for you though, like
where's your appetite
from like a trade from like a trading like psychology like standpoint, what works for you, because like the trading psychology, that's the biggest aspect of trading, because like you have to be, because like you're literally watching your money tick up and down. There's nothing like more like from like an emotional standpoint, like there's nothing more that could fuck with your brain, in my opinion, than like something like that, like literally watching your money tick up or down.
The detachment of it is a huge key.
Yeah.
So I didn't do that early but what I had to, when I first started with Joe, I was doing the SEP IRA because of a whole tax situation. That's what got me into it, right? That I was like obviously planning for my future at the same time as like limiting my tax burden, you know, by the law or whatever with the IRA. It's called a SEP IRA. And the detachment knowing I couldn't take it out. So I only did that type of investing because I just knew that was like the minimum I had to do for my situation. Then I started realizing I can't touch this shit till I'm 59. I probably will be doing some type of work just with content and stuff. But the reality is I'm probably not going to be like actually working all day at 59. I don't think. I think I'm going to be playing golf. That's my plan. But anyway, who knows? Play this back when I'm 59. But my point is that I was like, well, shit, I better start putting some money away I can touch whenever I want it. But I still had that, but I already had that mentality of once it's gone, I'm not taking it back out. And so I think to your point, Trey, it's all relative. But like when I look at what's in my actual bank account, I don't think, oh, I can access that. To me, I'm not taking, because the long game is keeping it in, right? Now, if obviously there's a fucking super rainy thunderstorm day, I can grab it if I need it. But when it leaves my actual bank account and goes into my investment account, it doesn't exist for me anymore. It's gone. And whether it goes up, down, or sideways, it's just out of there. And I think that's a great point to know, like, you know what, you wanted to put 1,000 in because you heard Cole talk about 500, but what you probably should put 220 in, because then you know you don't have to take it back out.
Yeah.
And then if something happens, you still have 800. So I think that's good advice, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny?
Yeah, go.
I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but like it's pretty much similar for me, I guess, with the IRA. But then anything above that, like I have like another like low cost index fund that I'll contribute to. But then
Like a Vanguard type thing?
exactly,
Yep.
yeah, that's what it is, and it's just automatic. Like literally, you just learn how to live with what you're you know using each month or whatever. So. And then the only other thing I wanted to contribute to with it is like just with like I just think of like personal credit card debt and stupid shit like that, like all that consumer debt of buying like, you know, furniture, clothes, whatever, all that unnecessary stuff. And so like right now
We don't really talk about that stuff, but none of us really spend that way.
No.
yeah, no, I don't either. But like right
But it's
now,
a great topic, though.
this point in time, like for example, I mean, we just got a new house, but like that was not gonna happen until these 5 boxes were checked. Like it wasn't even a conversation, like from the down payment to like the stuff that we needed to buy inside, because I'm like, you always see like, oh, you can, you know, split this up into payments, or like it's 12 months, same as cash. I'm like, fuck all that.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather just cut it, you know, free and
That's just
clear. That's
being
it.
financially disciplined, Danny, which is how you live your life in a disciplined manner. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So that's my only other thing. If it's not there,
How
then
do
don't
you
spend it.
What's your advice on resisting that, though? I fell into that a long time ago, but
Easy.
I haven't operated that. It's easy for you. That's kind of my point. So
No,
like,
it's easy to
Yeah,
fall
okay.
into it.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, you see that monthly payment, and then like, but you're always going to be paying on something. There's always going to be the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So I always just siphon off like, you know, whatever you can manage that month, and then like, guess what? You're not going to buy X object until it's in that account.
Sure.
It's as simple as that for me.
That's probably something I take for granted, is that we don't even talk about this, but this is a major fucking topic. But none of us spend that way, which is a huge plus, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Probably more than we realize.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I guess it's because maybe just like the other type of disciplinary, like spending things we talk about, maybe that just over all these years, it overrides
We just
wanting
know
to
it's
do.
gonna put you like in a bad spot.
Yeah. I guess it's just education about it.
Yeah,
Well,
so
and that's
why
why
would I do that?
Yeah.
And that's where it came from for
Yeah.
me, because
Yep.
I knew exactly how it felt, and it felt like it felt like you were digging yourself in a hole and you couldn't stop fucking digging.
Yeah.
So first is like stop digging, and then like you start to climb your way out slowly and slowly.
And by the way, when you climb out of the hole, that's where the freedom's at.
Exactly.
A lot of people think being rich is having $1 million. Being rich is that you are wealthy. Freedom is that you spend X and you have X coming in. And then as your time gets more efficient and you make more money, like it's an equation of time spent, money in,
Freedom.
money spent. That's really what creates the freedom.
For sure.
And to me, that is the thing. Like, there's never been a number that has been sweeter than the feeling of being able to do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a number.
Yeah.
And I would argue that the number isn't $1 million. It could be 100,000 for some people. It could be 50,000 if you're really living off the grid. But the reality is, when my life really changed, I made a little over 200 for a couple years in a row and wasn't an idiot with my money. And that changed my life forever. And I think maybe because of the way I grew up with like nothing, that seemed like $1 bazillion to me. Yeah. And I just, I did some dumb shit and bought some shit I probably shouldn't have, which is part of the point where I learned from that. But the reality is that I think when some people think, I got to be a millionaire, I'm going to do this, that's awesome. But the reality is that's not what changes it. I think it's not as far away as you think it is. Mm-hmm. Now, that might feel light years for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But I think once you start getting around that 6-figure level, you got to say like, like I'm about halfway to where this shit's real different. But if you guys are single, you live below your means, you're smart about your money, 100 can make a huge difference in your life if you know what the fuck you're doing. So my point is that you can dramatically change your long-term situation in your short-term situation by having this little bit of discipline around some decent money.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm like addicted to investing. Like if
too.
I had some extra cash like
I am
laying
too.
around, instead of like looking at like what new pair of shoes do I want, I'm like, what new fucking stock do I want to
the
buy
same
or something
way.
like that.
You know that when my money hits my account, it's the next day it's already in something.
I have such a bad issue with that.
Yeah, same.
Literally.
Same.
Literally the next day. Because of me and Rachel just talked about this the other day. She's like, maybe we should wait like an extra day.
Yeah.
Just
I'm
so
going
like
to,
we
I'm going to
talk.
the bank after this.
Yeah. It's like, so that's my thing is like I try to make sure it's employed. The money is employed and working for me as fast as possible.
Yeah. I'm all about like fucking stacking assets, especially right now. Like right now is a great
opportunities.
time to fucking stack some assets.
Yeah.
All money in, no money out.
Yeah. Facts.
Big time.
100%.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, cool. Next question. That was good.
Well, one more thing on
Go
this.
ahead.
I think once you dial in the basics of understanding dividends, stuff like that, understanding the accounts, understanding are you a day trader versus like long term, like what style suits you, I think getting into like understanding the charts
Yeah.
is probably a huge thing. Like even just understanding like basic indicators like the RSI or anything like that. Like what do you think, Trey?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even understand that shit. AG does.
Yeah.
that's just like typical like shit. I think like people like anybody should understand because like, for example, like I just like,
What does RSI mean?
The relative strength index.
Okay.
It basically
like understand.
Well, because I don't invest this way, so that's why I'm
like
asking.
understanding like all that stuff, or like even like just how charts move and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like even from like people should be conscious of that stuff, even from like a long term
Yeah.
standpoint. Just because like it could be something where like you might buy something 1 month and like you don't, and like you're cool with holding it for like 5 years.
Sure.
But like if you look at the chart though, and like like if you just wait a couple more months and then
You
put
could
the
get it
money
even
in,
cheaper.
You could get it
Yes.
even cheaper. Like
Yep.
you mean like that's just like the type of shit that people need to be conscious of.
You
and,
need
like,
to teach me that, Trey.
Yeah, which we will.
All right.
I think the other part too, with like going off of this, like at a more probably basic level, is just the financial education part. Like we've mentioned, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, the cash flow
Huge.
quadrant. There's I Will Teach You to Be Rich. There's Tony Robbins has some good stuff too. Just like developing an understanding there will be super helpful.
Well, and bug the fuck out of your local financial advisor. That's their fucking job.
Yeah, find one.
Teach me.
Yeah.
Teach me what a fucking Roth IRA, a regular IRA, a SEP IRA. Like, teach me the difference. That's what Joe did. Because I didn't fucking know.
Yep.
That's what their fucking job is. They make a percentage of your money as they're running it, but their job is to fucking teach you. And every time that money goes in, you could have the say of where it goes. You do enough research, like, you know, Cole's on automatic debit for $500,000. He could tell his financial guy when that hits, I'm going to call you and I want to go over with you where it goes. A lot of times they just do that stuff. Some people want that. That's not what I want. I don't have the automatic because I'm going to go as much as I can put in the day after it fucking hits. And I want to have some say in it. Now, what I love about Joe is, fuck, he got to talk me off the ledge sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is good because I need a partner like that has some reasonable thoughts back at my craziness. So that to me is worth the percentage of having a financial advisor because long term, I'm probably going to make less dumb decisions.
Yeah, that's why I like being with Joe too. Is because if I wanted to, I could do it myself
For sure.
But I like having the other person. I know that if I go to Joe and I say I want to do this, he'll ask me why,
Yeah.
or like he'll ask me more questions. I have to basically prove why I'm doing it, and
Yep.
that's also to him, but also it's in my brain, and this
Yeah.
is why I want to do it.
I like
so it's
that.
like a devil's advocate, so I don't fucking just keep selling shit.
Well, because I put together a strategy for an account to make X amount in dividends over the next like 2 years that I'm working towards. And he was like, he looked at the 4 stocks I really wanted to buy, which not financial advice, so I'm just going to not share them. But he said, he came back to me and said, you need to be in a different category with part of this money and look at this one. And so then I went, and that one was called Man Life or Manu Life Corp. It's like a financial company, but it pays $1 dividend, and it was like $17 a share. But they've been paying the dividend since 2000. So it's like, but I didn't have a financial company like an Edward Jones that was like, I didn't have one or own one of those. And so he was like, you know, I'm always the oil and all that stuff, but or MO or whatever. But he's like, you need to have a diversification on this asset there. And I was like, all right, cool. So if not, I'd be all in the same fucking stuff paying the highest ones. So that right there just alone like helped me just change the, I guess strategy a little bit.
That was some banger shit right there. That was some good,
it was really good.
info.
It was really good.
All right, so kind of going off the business, biggest fuck up you've ever had in business, and how did you bounce back?
Trying to think. I've fucked up a lot of stuff before. I'm trying to think how I bounced.
Yeah, so I mean, whenever I was thinking about this, I was thinking
probably
like
my favorite ones.
which one?
Flow Rider.
Yeah. See, that's what I was thinking.
Go ahead, just tell a story.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of anything major. It was just like small stuff that's, in the grand scheme of things wasn't that big of a fuck up, because I think most of the time I handle my shit and I make sure that there are no fuck ups.
Sure.
I'll start quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Trey.
It's never a big fuck up, but every time I like wake up late in the morning, I always it's
Still a fuck up,
yeah.
though.
It feels like the worst thing ever. If you miss
Well,
the
but
gym.
also you do that maybe twice a year?
Yeah, but that's like literally the worst. That's like the worst feeling though. Like I ever have to start the day.
I think there was one of them that was like it was like hours later too, right? Like we got a hold of you, it was like 8.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I think that my biggest there's a ton. First off, you are going to fuck up little things to major things all the time. It's just what it is. So people thinking that things, even when shit's going well, I think some of it's fucked up. I think it's just the way that I think all the time. Like I'm always trying to relook at stuff and think like, even if it's going well, am I missing something? Like I just think that that's always a process, because you have to be evolving, growing. Not everything's always raising up. It goes down, it goes up, it's whatever. The one thing was that also when you get a lot of wins in a row, you think they're all wins because you think you're sweet. So Robert De Niro said something the other day when I was watching an interview where he said, when shit's going like shitty, just realize there's an end to it. You don't know when, but there is. And when shit's rolling, like fucking you're killing it, don't be feeling yourself too much. Yeah. Because there's an end to that too. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was interesting. What he's saying is be in the middle, right? And so, I get fucking Mike Vick, Ocho Cinco, coming off Joey Porter, Sean Merriman. Who was the next one? Like I had athlete, killing it. Tiger, Arnold, Kaepernick, and I'm like Kaepernick. I'm like, Flow Rider. I'm the one standing up in the meeting. Flow fucking Rider.
Yeah.
He's got this many million. He's jacked. Blah blah
He
blah.
was hitting that time too.
Hitting, dude. Yeah. Welcome to my house. Yeah. And that might be a good clip.
Splice that in.
Yeah. And to his point, Flow Rider was awesome. He was great.
Yeah.
No problems. The deal's not multi-million, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like he was a fucking star. He is a star. Mainstream, I'm thinking the workouts will go out just like they go on everyone else's stuff. It's going to kill it. People are going to engage. No. And so he had a photographer that he worked with. He did his photo shoot, all the stuff. When's the last time, I think you guys know this, but I'm going to retell the story because it's new content. When's the last time you saw Flow Rider without sunglasses on?
Never.
Literally never.
I would have known.
Okay. So he does the whole photo shoot. He's jacked, no sunglasses. Not a motherfucker knows who he is.
So yeah, can you?
So you said so. I mean, he's an athlete, bro. Jacked up, big, but he sends all the stuff and it looks great. But not one picture looked like his brand.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like we probably should have had him doing fucking curls and like a cutoff with his glasses and like I don't know, like we just did not think of that through at all.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm thinking like, of course he doesn't work out in his sunglasses. That's like his stage thing. But literally, it looked like a completely different dude. So I get all this. And I'm trying to wrap the same content the same way that you guys all consumed that murdered it. Fucking crickets. First post goes out. We announce it. 0 engagement. Like 7 people fucking commented. They're like, the fuck is that? Like whatever. And it just like week after week, it was just awful. So then it comes to the quarterly meeting where, they're like, So how's that going? And I'm like, I just stand up. I'm like, this fucking no problems with Flow Rider. He's an awesome guy. Did everything we asked. Continues to do everything we asked. Sucks ass. Just doesn't work. I'm like 6-1, bro. It was so bad.
Was everything like, you're like, oh yeah, Flo, like he's doing the photo shoot, everything is good, and it was like it hit you right whenever you got like the drive link that had all the photos in it.
Yes.
But I would also assume like he would have the sunglasses on, but it makes sense that he doesn't work out with sunglasses.
No,
but you would,
of course, and I would ask him to do that.
Yeah, it's probably a thing like, hey, like a deliverable. Make sure you wear the sunglasses. Like probably the last thing you think about putting it on.
He just looked like Flow Rider working out. But
Yeah.
if you don't really pay attention to Flow Rider, you're just so used to seeing certain things he's got on, how he operates, and so like it, and even on his page. So it wasn't just like our people didn't know it was Flow Rider. When he posted it out, it looked awkward on his shit, like on his Facebook and everything. And once again, the engagement was terrible. It didn't work, and I just looked like a fucking idiot. But I tried to get 50. I was close to getting 50. Was working on, actually, true story, I was negotiating with 50's manager, and he committed suicide. You can look it up.
Shit.
And then there goes that. I mean, so I couldn't go any further with that. And then I tried a couple other ways, but it just didn't work. I was thinking about Lil Wayne, but he was really only talking about drugs at that point. And then, so third was Flow Rider.
Thinking back,
which also means Florida, right?
Was there anyone else was there anyone else at the time, like thinking back, like, oh, I should went after like this person?
No, 50 would have been the best, but I would have had to give up like heavy amount for 50, right? Because 50
Especially
was
at that time.
Yeah, because 50 was in the industry. Like he was at the Arnold one year. That's how I got my G Unit sneaker signed. Like he was around, and he was friends with the guy from Europa who I'm tight with. Shout out Eric Hillman. No free shout outs, but he was like, so I had it into him. That's how I got the manager. We were going back and forth, and to me, we were trying to be Vitamin Water before Vitamin Water. You know what I mean? That was my mentality. I'm trying to get everybody hot.
Yeah.
I got fucking Tiger. I got fucking Arnold. I'm trying to get 50. I believed I could get anybody, and I could. Flow Rider wasn't it though. So anyway, that was a royal fuck up.
Yeah.
There's some other things though. Here's the one thing I'll tell you: when it costs you money, though, that's when you learn the most. I had fuck ups on paperwork that cost me money, which you guys are aware of. I've had fuck up with old business partners that's cost me money. I've had fuck ups on a lot of stuff that has cost me, Corey Gregory, not the company money. And when you have to write those checks, which ain't $500, by the way, they're thousands or 100,000 plus, whatever it is, that really is the best teacher. Honestly, when I fucking started making Kyle pay me every time he was late, that's when he got better. I karate chop the desk at old school. I scream out of my fucking, and I start saying, no, it costs you $100 now. Because then what's he going to say? Well, no, I'm not paying you. I say, well, you're fucking fired. It costs you $100 if you're late. That's when he started coming on time. And then he moved into Cole's house to be even closer so he knows he's on time. And he's done really great since then. So he had that $1,000 bound up in his pocket. He gave me about $400 back. And every time he'd give it to me, I'd say, thank you for paying for dinner tonight. This is amazing. But I think it was the best lesson. So I wish you guys could see him off camera shaking his head. But the reality is, when it costs you money, your own money out of your savings account and your checking account, I have learned the best lessons then. Shout out, God.
Shout out. That's amazing.
You guys have anything you want to add to that?
The only story I could think of, and this wasn't like really major, but it was kind of like a fucking wow factor that I didn't like catch this, was whenever we did, it was like the Summer Max on the Saks.
Okay.
And
Yes.
somehow, so whenever I
remember this one.
Yeah, so whenever I made the Summer Max
With the beer thing.
With the beer thing, it was originally the Caffeine and Kilos Max collab with the coffee mug. So it was the same thing, and I basically changed it to look like a beer mug. And the fucking logo was still in the Illustrator files. And somehow, whenever I submitted it, the logo was ticked on. So it was actually on top so you could see. It wasn't like in the background, just hiding in the layers. It was on there, and submitted it. Fucking approved it, looked good. Like me and Ty looked at it, like, yeah, this looks fine. And then it comes and it has the fucking Caffeine and Kilos logo just right on the fucking big as fuck on the beer can. And I'm like, Oh,
times like 1,000 or 2,000 sacks.
Yeah, it was like 2,000. Yeah, 2,000 sacks. I'm like, how the fuck? But in the grand scheme of things, that's not that big of a fuck up, and I don't think anyone noticed it.
Well, no, because it didn't print super crisp.
Yeah, it
remember?
didn't. Yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, what is it going on?
But that's a good example of another thing coming back to when I've had talks with Kyle about this is that cold 99.9% of the time you absolutely murder it.
Yeah.
So the 0.1 time you don't, or the one time that Trey sleeps in, dude, I fuck up stuff more than you guys fuck up stuff. You know what I mean? So to me, it just comes down to if you over deliver and deliver, back to the Andrew Carnegie thing, it's like, don't do just as you're told, not me telling or just what's required. You do more. And if you just do incrementally more, then you're always going to be fucking good when you do fuck up stuff because everyone does. It's just what it is. Yeah. And so like my flow rider fuck up, I was like, yo, I'm 6-1. The other one's crushed it. I'm the one that's got the relationships with all these people. Like some of those deals might have been done earlier without me, but the reason why they went so well was I think a lot because of me. So I don't feel bad about that one. You know what I mean? Now, if I was paying out of my own pocket, I would have felt a little different probably, which is why I brought that up. You know what I mean? So in the reality, that was still out of the company's pocket, and I felt really bad because it didn't work. But anyway, good point though. But yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
The Caffeine and Kilos beer mug. Anything for you, Dan?
The only thing I could think of was the very first day.
I was going to bring this up. This is amazing.
I just forgot to do.
You just forgot to put the stuff on.
We literally talked about it the night before. And
I was like, Danny, you're not in your real job anymore. You got this. You're full time for me. Just have this up by a certain time.
First day.
What would you what'd you end up doing?
Shit in my pants.
Yeah. So did I call you and ask where it was at?
Oh yeah, you were not happy. I felt like I got like throat punched and kicked in the stomach at once.
Great first day. I'm like, hey Danny, you want to put the stuff up? That's cool.
Yeah. I was looking for train tracks after that.
Oh, Danny's always like, yeah, I hope you fall down the stairs.
Yeah. True story.
That's fucking good. Yeah, I remember that. You were like, yeah. Because you were like, yeah, it's the first day. I don't know. You just basically, it wasn't really in your fucking mind yet.
Yeah, no.
So good. All right, Cole.
Hey, it didn't happen again.
No, I don't think you've ever done that again, which is amazing. How many years later?
Yeah, fucking 5+.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right, the rest of them are like basically some training questions. So
all right, cool.
Get into this shit. All right, Taj Grills. Shout out Taj Grills.
What up, Taj?
What's the best way to get back on track for training if you fall off?
I think the most recent, the 21 days to Yoke City, was a great indicator that we need more training programs like that to get people back on track. Now, that program had 3 different levels. It's still difficult, but 21 days to create a habit, which is why I did the busy diet back in the day for 21 days, right? That was the whole thought around it. Something that's a short enough window where you feel like you can attain it. This one specifically, which is the 21 days to Yoke City, are things you don't really need equipment for, and you just need to be consistent at something. And when you string a few days together, you will create mild momentum, which will make you feel better, which then will make you realize, oh, I can jump to dumbbell shred, I can jump to get stacked, whatever it is. You need to find an entry point of something to do for 14 to 21 days. In my opinion, that is the best way to get back on track. And get on some material that sharpens the mind a little bit. It's easy to get foggy. If you eat bad, you're not training, and maybe you got something else going on in your life, the fog can be real. Mm-hmm. If you start eating halfway decent, you start lunging, you start training, and you start listening to some good material, you can sharpen up. It'll take a few days, but you can sharpen up a little bit and start thinking more clearly.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much echoing that. You just have to find what it is for you. It could be Yoke City, it could be lunges, whatever it is. Just create a little bit of momentum so you can get started again.
Yeah, it could be fucking Tony Horton, walking. Fucking whatever the hell that shit is. What the hell is that? There's that one fucking I can't remember the workout plan everyone does in their base. Not Tybo, some other shit like that. It could be your grandma
P90X.
Yes, it could be your grandma's. Could be your grandma's fucking workout P90X.
Like, where's he going?
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm never gonna shout. No free shout. I'm never gonna shout out other free programs or other programs. But the reality is, like, you need to do something.
Yeah.
You need to fucking do something.
Well,
even if you fucking walk for 20 days.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think of like James Clear when he talks about like just like when you start a habit, like trying to make an identity change. Like you want to be the kind of person that's gonna go for a half-hour walk, or the person kind of person who lunges, or the kind of person who wants to be fucking shredded.
I feel like that might be a daily fire. I'm gonna take a note of that.
Nice.
Be that person.
Shout out.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna read it.
That'd be sick if we got James Clear on here.
Yeah, we can get that. We're gonna talk to Deegan about him.
Yeah.
He knows him pretty well.
Yeah.
Next.
He's like 6'12" too.
Yeah. He's a fucking boss too.
6'12".
Sorry.
Danny's wiener's 112.
Oh, good one.
All right.
I should have said 1 negative 12.
Math was your strong suit.
Hey, I gotta tell this story real quick. So AG the other night was fucking just spinning the fuck out of the ball. Struck out this kid on a nasty fucking slider or something. The fucking center fielder, which will remain nameless, but he's fucking chirping the whole time. He runs in. You can hear him say, he's like, dude, that was so nasty. It's like, I got a fucking turtle head. But you can hear him in the stands. So all the moms are like, I'm assuming that's what he meant. I was fucking dying. All right, go ahead. Cole.
Good talk.
Yeah.
All right.
I was like, damn, dude. Say that a little less loud.
You got the homie Kevin Esteban, been a member since 2017.
Hell yeah.
Been lunging, been getting it. He said he wants to know rest versus gains. He goes, I struggle with how Arnold said at OSG that he loved being a little overtrained.
Yeah, why? Arnold believed that kept him in condition, though. So when he mentioned that, he thought that if he trained more with the supersets 3 times a week, all that kind of stuff that he did that was wild, that it kept him in better condition. Because Arnold's knock when he first got here was he wasn't tight. He was bigger than everybody, but he wasn't tight. So he got beat by Frank Zane. He got beat by some of these guys that did more reps, more conditioning, whatever. Because none of those guys really did cardio. They would maybe run on the beach a little bit, but they really didn't. They just trained. So you got to remember, those days weren't, I did this and then I did 30 minutes of steady state or I lunged. They didn't do any of that stuff. They got that condition by eating and by training that volume. So when he said he liked to be a little overtrained, I really think he meant that kept him in that condition that he needed because he obviously wasn't flat. So it's like...
He was not small.
Yeah. But what I think he also meant by that, because we had talked about this multiple times, people just don't fucking push hard enough. For you to push to an amount, I've tested this, by the way, probably more than fucking anybody, to push it to the amount that you are actually overtrained takes some motherfucking will. You got to really fucking push yourself. So, maybe if you're a complete novice and you go try to do 800 meters every day, you're going to get punched in the fucking throat. But the reality is if you work out and you're really that concerned about overtraining, I don't know. I just think that probably 9 out of 10 people, or maybe 9.9 out of 10 people don't even get there. Mm-hmm. But they're so worried that they're going to get there that they're actually undertrained. And a lot of people will say, you're not really overtrained, you're undernourished. Mm. And that could be part of it too. So you're overtrained, but you're not really doing the other shit right. You're not eating enough protein or just quality food in general, or getting enough rest, not taking your aminos. There's so many other factors. And that's why I battle this, because I'm I didn't even figure out the squat every day shit till I was 37. You know what I mean? Most people were fucking pretty much packing it in at that point. I'm just starting this crazy shit. Or 35. I was older already. So if I would have been overtrained, I would have figured it out then. But guess what? I was sleeping a quality 5 or 6. I'm getting my aminos in every day. I'm getting my creatine in. I'm eating quality food. I would just rival that. If you're doing the other things proper, you shouldn't even be fucking worried about that. Unless you're fucking David fucking Goggins.
Yeah.
So, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it'd be really hard to get there.
And I know everyone's a little different. I get that. I mean, Cole, I would say it's accurate that you recover not as well as some of the other guys.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
I'm the type of person I can run off 4 or 5 hours of sleep for a few days in a row, but then I need more rest.
Yeah.
Just with and because I'm trying to basically keep my body healthy, my shoulder issue, my hips. The more rest I get, the better it feels, obviously. So I battle that of whether or not am I being a pussy or do I actually need rest.
Yeah. But you're literally maybe there might be one other guy in the crew that battles it like you. Like most of the people I've met, they never push themselves hard enough to be at that.
Yeah.
But yours is like you're pushing yourself there and you're trying to manage some stuff. So, but I just think most people don't get there.
I think everyone needs to be their own science experiment too
Yes.
with this, because like with me, like when I go through my like different iterations with training, like when I was training for like my like long ass ruck shit, like that was completely different. So like I knew I had to do X, Y, and Z, like basically regardless on how I felt or not. So I knew when I was finally getting to that point, because everything else was in line that you just said.
Yeah.
Like nutrition, like
Then if you're not recovering on top of it, then you're like, oh,
yeah.
I might be here.
Exactly. Then you can like change the variables slightly so that you can actually recover.
Yeah.
Whether it's a rest day or just like, David Goggins talks about this, still running, but like running really, really slow or like whatever it is.
I mean, but Cole, if you're like banging 21 days in a row, then you need more recovery.
Yeah, I mean,
Pound
facts.
palace.
Sometimes you gotta like recharge a little bit.
All right, next question.
Right here, hold on. Let's see.
Just throw that in there.
So yeah, we kind of just talked about this on the last episode, but competition mindset leading up, during, and after event. Maybe since we just talked about during, what's the mindset after the event?
I got problems with this because like when I got a date, I'm turned up every week on Wednesday. Ever since the meet, I've had a hard time figuring it out where I stop, how hard I should be pushing. The wheels just kind of partially fell off this week. I think part of it is because of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but am I supposed to be 1 million constantly? That's impossible. It's like me managing that. So I know exactly what to do when it's on. I'm gonna fucking love that. Like, yeah, fucking let's take it. Wrap me up every fucking week. I'm battling. And that's where I feel the most at home. I think because I've been doing it for so fucking long. It's almost like any other athlete. I've been going at competition literally since Barnesville High School, 1997, every fucking quarter, bro. So like that's where I feel at home at. I feel at home with stuff on a calendar, being on display, and having to push. I don't really know how to shut it down, and I'm having a little problems with that because I'm trying to balance it a little bit, but it's really hard for me. So maybe you guys got better answers for this one.
So with like football and sports in high school, there was always like a 3-month period of like an off season. So it's really interesting because now I feel like I'm in the same groove of where in high school you would have all winter as basically an off season, like a 3 to 4 month off season, then would lead up into the competition where you're training for fucking every Friday night, every big game, whatever like that. Now it's like it's kind of switched of where with our lifestyle and our competition, it seems like we all focus in around the fall and winter because obviously that's whenever what else is there really to do?
Yeah.
Like
Gain phase.
Yeah. And then in the summer you kind of like line it off a little bit so that, it's you want to go to the fucking pool, vacation, stuff like that. So for me, it's like I'm kind of itching to go back into the winter. I know in the winter we'll be fucking be at it and going hard again, but just like kind of trying to take it off and just like fucking work out, get a pump, just be a bro.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I just don't do very good at it.
Yeah. But I have been thinking like I need another calendar. Like I need a date now.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about it too, but then I'm just trying to figure out like I love knowing that in 3 weeks I got to be a fucking boss, or 2 weeks I like 5 weeks. Like I fucking love that because then because then my brain switches to non-negotiable stuff where right now I know I got to out because I ain't really got nothing to be on display about other than day to day. So like what keeps me away or makes me take that extra weight other than competition, I don't know. And I'm trying, maybe if I was a little younger, I wouldn't like probably process it the same way, but trying to manage just how much I want to stay in the game as long as I can. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to be halfway smart. Fuck, I might just throw it out the window. I don't know.
Dan, do you have anything?
Nothing that hasn't been said. Pretty much. It just happened to me because now I'm doing 2 events at the end of this year. So.
What are you doing?
In October, it's a 24-hour ruck. It's basically see how far you can go in 24 hours.
Hell yeah! How far can you go, Danny?
I don't know.
Are you gonna like? Is it at a set location or are you just doing it by yourself?
No. So actually,
is it a 1 mile loop?
3 mile loop.
Okay.
So
that's not as crazy.
The friend I convinced to do the 100 miles.
Okay.
He did it by himself.
That's fucking
Shout
ballsy.
out Joe.
What up, Joe? Joe's a badass. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a member and everything.
Yeah.
Loves the minicast.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But anyway, he has done this like it's actually an ultra race, like a running race in South Bend, Indiana.
Okay, dope.
And so it's a 3-mile loop. He's done it like 7 times.
Shout out Touchdown Jesus.
Yeah, shout out. And so we were just talking about it, like, what if we just fucking ruck it?
Yeah,
instead?
do it.
So yeah, that's what we're.
So you guys just doing it by yourself?
No, it's
Oh,
like
it's
an actual event. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be doing it together and everything.
Hell yeah.
That'd be cool.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So.
Do you track weights and try to progress on all exercises in the Get Stack program?
So this is one thing that's been asked before. Like, we mostly look at the conjugate method stuff and try to beat it each time. But I think you do need to be conscious of your accessories, pushing them up mildly each week if you can. So even in the arm workout, if you used the fucking regular bar last week, throw 2.5s on. Like, you can consciously, and that's one thing Louis wrote about, is that pushing your accessory up mildly, helps with your GPP and just your overall strength. So I think that is something to be conscious of. You'll never catch me with a binder filling out numbers. I'm not saying I'm like, you shouldn't do that. That's just not my style. My brain just doesn't work that way. And I can pretty much, for the most part, remember the main lifts of what I made. And the other thing is, I've weighed so many different weights, no gear, like from a standpoint of powerlifting equipment, so I have like 1 million different maxes, and so I kind of know where I'm at. But like most people probably forget things, so if that helps you. But also being on your phone in the gym tracking everything is a little bit whack to me. But whatever can make you make sure that you're improving. So
yeah,
but most of the guys probably just do for the main conjugate lifts, I would say.
Yeah, same way. All right, so these are just like a quick supplement questions.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best / fastest way to shred belly fat if the fat burner makes me feel sick? I'm gonna start out by saying, if you're taking 4 pills of the fat burner, just dose it down.
Yeah,
like, because it fucking is awesome. It's like one of my favorite fucking supplements.
Fuck yeah, we need to clip that for max effort.
Facts. Yeah. I take it before my workout.
Yeah.
It fucking gets me rocking.
Yeah. It's the mental capacity on that too, or the mental focus is off, which is where we got a lot of the ideas for Brainmaster at. Shout out Brainmaster. If you want to feel that way but not as much caffeine, Brainmaster's there too.
That's facts.
I like it. I think too, definitely dose down. And second, I'm just going to be straight with you. It takes way longer than you think it does. Like, fucking losing your body fat on your abs takes way fucking longer than you think it does, and it never happens fast enough. And that's why abs are so revered in our like society, because it's, unless you're born with them, it displays, and even if you're born with them, to keep them, ultimate discipline, because it is like you're walking around going, hey, I'm either born with these or I eat really fucking good and I train my ass off, because you got to do it all. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the thing. Like, so just know that if you never had abs before, I was skinny, kind of fat, in the first time I wanted to get abs, because I went from 200 down to 170 or 165 for my first modeling shit in New York. It took me like 6 months, and I was a fucking animal because I wanted to be in New York. I thought it was going to be on fucking Abercrombie shit. So like, I did 100, 200 wheels a day, weighted crunches, fucking hour of cardio, never missed my meals. Like, I was a fucking beast, and it took me 6 months. So when you hear me talk like that, are you putting in work like that? And if you are, then no, you just got to keep it up. And if you aren't, you better get your shit together. And then you'll get abs. Yeah. Takes a while.
Fuck yeah. Alternative protein to the protein powder with the spike due to allergies.
Plant protein.
Plant protein's fire.
Yeah, it's really good.
Slept on.
The other thing about the plant protein is, I tried to find, when I was creating it with the science team over at the manufacturer, find the 2 things that were the most natural to make it taste good without, like, having the availability to sucralose. So it's like chocolate is a natural thing that tastes good, cocoa powder, and peanut butter, peanuts, is a natural thing that makes it. So not only does the plant protein, like it's far superior than any other plant pea isolates that I've seen on the market, but the mixability and taste is really, really good. And I don't even like that type of protein, but I created it. So even if our people from our normal protein buyers would flip over, they would enjoy it.
Yeah.
Cole Susak's one of them.
For my spike, Me and Michaela make the plant protein. We do almond milk, plant protein powder, fucking the frozen like strawberry banana shit, and then scoop of peanut butter.
Hell
and
yeah.
Fucking blend it up. And
There
it's
you go.
fire.
What?
Clip that too, Kyle.
Fucking
It's fucking good.
All right, this is the last question. We'll end it on a good note. Does anyone ever actually eat the sweet potato skin? I do.
Do you?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I have. No.
I mean, I like cut it up. I don't like peel the skin off though. So yeah.
So you do
Yeah,
eat the
I
skin.
eat it. Yeah.
Huh?
I
So
feel
do
like
you-
that's where like the dogs, like the nutrients are in there.
It's like eating the bark.
Yeah.
Well, I
know?
just like dice it up and then like throw it in the oven. Like,
Yeah.
and then like I don't even like notice.
Yeah, because you're eating it like a fry almost.
Yeah.
Kind of because you're baking it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sweat.
All right. Well,
like
maybe
some
I
of
need
the
to get
best shit,
maybe
yeah.
I need to get my shit. Maybe my testosterone
It's
go
like-
if I eat the skin.
yeah, it's
Don't
like
be
the
a
hidden
bitch-ass hoe.
nutrients
Yeah.
in there, you know?
Yeah, I love how people are saying that on the fucking blog.
What?
Wait, hold on. Let's read this comment.
What
from
is it?
last night.
What are they saying?
Danny
Hold on,
wrote.
hold on.
Danny sent me this comment from the blog. It's
It
amazing.
was absolutely amazing. This is Miguel Reyes put this on his last daily fire.
Okay.
Said, "Damn, got to the gym on time today, but was definitely a bitch ass hoe before I got here. Tomorrow will be a different story. Hashtag I ain't no hoe."
Roundtable podcast. I'm your
Yeah.
boy Corey G at Small Arms, Danny at Trey Speed, and the graphic gangster himself, Cole Susak. Brought to you by MaxEffortMuscle.com. Don't be a bitch ass hoe. We out.